I finally played Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is a Metroidvania released in 2017 by Team Cherry. It's an indie game, and by February of 2019, it had sold over 2.8 million copies. I couldn't really figure out how many it sold up to this day. Regardless, all that sales stuff, it's always so hard to find all the data because you've got digital sales, physical sales. Now with Game Pass, you've got games being played on that, which is where I played Hollow Knight. I think I do own it on one of my many gaming launchers. I also wanted to buy it physically on Switch at one point, but it doesn't matter. I finally played the game, and I'm so glad I did. Hollow Knight is one of those games where I've seen so many videos over the years. I've seen so many people talk about it. I've seen essays and breakdowns and lots of gameplay of it, and I just never really felt compelled to play it. I don't know if that's ever happened to you guys where you hear a game that's talked very highly of, lots of praise. You've seen videos on it, you've seen a lot of gameplay, but you've never felt compelled to jump in and try for some reason or another. With Hollow Knight, I don't really know why. I don't know why I didn't want to jump in and play, especially when you hear a game this good. I finally played it now. I think this whole backlog thing has helped me out a ton, where I go through my backlog is humongous. It's never ending, always expanding because games are always coming out. But it's helped me where I write down games that I want to play through in the year, and I have this long list, and I can go through, and whatever game I'm kind of in the mood for, I'll pick and play. And Hollow Knight was on there. Now, this game is not small. It's incredibly big. It's a Metroidvania. It took me about 32 hours to complete. That's just the base stuff. That's not including the 2 DLCs, which I'll talk about later. So I finally jumped into Hollow Knight. And what's funny is when I first started playing it, I was streaming it to my friends on Discord. And after about 2 or 3 days, I had, just by me playing it, had gotten 3 other friends at that time to jump in and start playing it. And they were having fun too. It's like one of those when a game first comes out and it's a single player game, everybody's playing it together and streaming it in Discord. That's what was going on here, and I loved it because we were all exploring different parts of the map and telling each other where secrets are and where to find this, and there's a secret boss here. That was so much fun. Hollow Knight is such an addicting and amazing experience. Like, holy crap. I don't want to say Hollow Knight's underrated because I know it's very praised and people really like it, but my god, this game is amazing. Like, I don't think anybody could put into words the experience you're getting out of Hollow Knight, because it's like a Metroidvania mixed with Souls-like elements, and there's so many cool parts to this game. I wish that more people played it. I wish somebody freaking, I don't know, locked me into a room and said I could not leave until I finished Hollow Knight back when it came out. But here we are, 7 years removed from when it was released, and I finally played it, and I loved every second I was in it. Except for the beginning. This game, and there's lots of games that are like this, where it takes a little bit for it to click. It takes a little bit for it to click in your head what you're doing, and you have to get comfortable with the idea of you don't know where to go, you're kind of lost, you just need to explore. Just explore is probably like the best advice I could give to somebody that's jumping into Hollow Knight for the first time, because it is difficult. The game's hard. There's no direction. The game doesn't tell you where to go, but it kind of does because it blocks off certain pathways. So if you're walking down a hallway and then you get to the end of it and you're like, wow, I can't make this jump, like I can't jump up high enough, or that's poisonous water and anytime I touch it I die. These are cues that the devs are giving you that, hey, you can't go this way yet until you get a specific ability. So that's kind of the next part I wanted to talk about, is all the different gameplay elements with Hollow Knight. So you play as this little beetle guy, and you have a nail, which is your sword, and you go around killing other bugs. As you attack bugs, you can build up, I'm going to just call it your Estus, because I don't remember what it is called, but you attack these bugs. It builds up your circle meter here, and this circle meter can be used to heal yourself. It can be used to cast different magic and spells. it's very handy. So as you engage in combat, you're rewarded. Not only are you rewarded with money, like when you kill bugs, you get geodes, which is your money. You also get rewarded with health. You get rewarded with mana, because it's all kind of the same thing here. Because if you get hit once, you have like 5 at the beginning. You have 5 different hit points. Every time you get touched, you lose one of those. But when you're attacking enemies, you build up your this circle meter here, and then you can then use that to heal, cast magic, like I said, all sorts of different goodies. And it's very good that it rewards the player for being aggressive at times. The gameplay is very basic in the beginning, but as you continue to progress, you get more abilities that allow you to do different combos. You can upgrade your nail, you can climb walls, you can wall jump, you can fly at some point. You've got this dash ability, which is super helpful. On top of all of your different abilities you can get these things called charms, which grant you secondary abilities. Like one of the charms grants you more geodes, or one of the charms gives you a shell shield thing when you're healing. One of the charms allows you to injure enemies when you're dashing. One of the charms makes you swing your sword faster. Like there's lots of different things. Like one charm gives you more health. There's so many different ways to go about playing it that assists the player. But how you find these charms is you have to explore. That is kind of the root and base of this game, is exploration. And I loved it, man. Like when I unlock a new ability and I'm like, oh crap, okay, now that I can double jump, I can go back to this location that I couldn't get up to that point. And now you can wall jump and then double jump and bam, like you're up there. It's so good how this game just flows. It makes you take notes. Like I had a little notebook that I was taking notes because, well, you can mark on the map. You can buy that in the map's another good thing I want to talk about. You can buy these little things that they're like pins that you can pin on the map. But as you continue to explore and expand the map and buy things from the map guy and his wife up at the hub world at the very top, it makes exploration easier. You can mark things, you can mark secret bosses, you can mark locations that you couldn't get to. I still wish that today in modern standards, or in modern gaming, you could physically write on a map. I know it's probably difficult to do something like that. I don't really know, I'm not a game developer, but I do know they had this feature all the way back in Phantom Hourglass, and that was on the Nintendo DS. So it is doable, okay? I've seen it, and I want that in all of my modern games where exploration is huge and there's a big map. The pins are a good second. Like I like being able to mark the pins or mark locations with a pin on the map. That's good, but it can be better. Regardless, exploring is so much fun in this. You can explore and find new abilities. You can find new charms. You can find these little grub guys that you, when you collect, you can take them back to the grub father, and then he gives you the grub father. He gives you, or she, I don't even know what it is, gives you geodes, or will give you charms, or they'll give you items to expand your masks, which is your health, or you can expand your circle meter. You can get, I think, 2 or 3 more additions to your circle thing. So it's just good. Everything flows together. The music is awesome. The aesthetic and atmosphere is so good. I love the level designs. There are points where after you unlock enough abilities, like you're chaining tacks, like you're smacking the floor. You can do this down slice, which can bounce you off of enemies if you're smacking an enemy, or you can bounce off of like spike pits or different things that are like in your way. Once you learn the movement and the combat and understand how this game works, it flows so well together, where you're chaining attacks into dashes and jumps and double jumps and wall jumps, and it's so good. Like there are points where you feel like such a badass playing this game because everything flows so well together, and it just becomes second nature how the movement and the combat is of this game. When you get your dash ability and you're starting to dash through enemies' attacks, and you really start to pick up the hang of this game, like it clicks. But like I said, you need to give yourself like an hour or two unless you're just smarter and can pick up on how the game goes. But like, it took me about an hour to really figure out what was going on, get into this, get past that first boss, which is another thing that's super fun about Hollow Knight is the boss fights. The boss fights are so good. They range from extremely infuriating to a methodical dance. Like, my favorite boss fight, and I'm glad it happens early on, was the Mantis Lords. That was so good. You start out fighting one Mantis Lord, and then you kill that one Mantis Lord, you learn the moves, and then you're fighting 2 at a time. And you think, oh crap, how am I going to do this? But the more you learn the moves and understand the movement and the flow of the boss fight, it becomes super methodical, and it's like a dance, like I said. And that's with most of these boss fights. You start to learn their moves and flow into it, and it's so good, dude. I love it. I love this game. You can upgrade your nail to do more damage to basic enemies, but I think it also gives bosses more health. So there's give and take with everything that you do. There's lots of merchants, there's side quests that you can do. There's this banker dude that I gave a bunch of money to because he holds on to it in case you die. But then, spoilers with that, he ends up stealing your money, goes somewhere, you gotta go find him, get your money back. It's like, there's so much to do in this game. It is insane how big it is. Just base Hollow Knight in and of itself is humongous. The map is large. There's so many things to collect, so many different places to explore, bosses to fight, enemies to encounter. It's great, dude. You can get lost in this game, completely lost in this game. And then on top of all of that, there is free DLCs. There's the Phantom Trope, and then I think there's the Godmaster one. I didn't even attempt to try either of these. I don't know if I will. I'm not very good at this game. Like, it's fun and I feel like I got into a flow of it, but by the end I was pretty burnt out, where I'm like, man, like this, there's so much here. I did not 100% it, but I think I got close. I tried to fight as many of the bosses as I could. I did get stuck on a few of them, but once again, I'm just not that good. And I know the Phantom Trope is incredibly difficult, and then the Godmaster one is like a boss rush where you fight basically every single boss in the entire game, DLC included, so that you can then fight the big white guy at the very end, the Eternal, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, it's incredibly difficult, and people will spend hundreds of hours trying to master this all. And it's laid out in a way, this boss rush, where you can practice. Like, I think there's like 10 or plus bosses that you need to fight in a row, maybe more than that, but let's say you get to like boss number 7 and you die, you can then just go fight boss number 7 to practice. In order to beat the entire game, you have to beat every boss in one go. But like I said, once you encounter a boss in that boss rush, you can then go practice that specific boss fight. And it's hard, dude. Like, I've seen videos on it. I've seen like task speedruns, which are insane. I've seen regular speedruns, which are even more insane because it's a human doing it. So it's difficult. Like, this game is difficult, but it is so rewarding. It's so much fun. Like, I cannot believe that this is an indie game. This is so good. Don't let the 2D art style or side scrolling, don't let any of that like stray you from playing this. Just jump in and experience a game. Like, when something is this highly praised in the gaming community, jump in, try it for yourself, find out if it really is that good. And man, I'm so glad I did. I am glad I finally jumped into Hollow Knight. I beat the game. I experienced everything I wanted to experience out of it, and if I ever get the itch to go back and get more, I can, because there's 2 DLCs that I never even touched. And on top of all of that, Silksong is the sequel to Hollow Knight, and that's been talked about for years now, and maybe in 2025 we're going to finally get it. I don't know. I mean, up to this point, it's been 7 years. Next year will be 8 years since the release of Hollow Knight. But man, it's worth it. This is one of those games where, and I don't know if this is my game of the year that I've played, but it's up there. I think I want to, at the end of the year, I'm going to do a video talking about all the games I played and probably rank my top 3 games and pick my game of the year, my gaming experience of the year. It doesn't mean like this game came out this year. Regardless, Hollow Knight's up there, man. Like, it may be my game of the year that I played. and it's so good. This is a game I see myself replaying at some point in time because it is that good. This is Exploration, the video game, and it scratched every itch when it came to that. It felt so good expanding the map. It felt so good just going to different locations, throwing, everything to the wind and just going. And once again, when you first start playing this, you got to give yourself some time to kind of understand what's going on, especially if you've never played any Metroidvanias before. But give yourself some time and just realize, I'm going to lose money, I'm going to die a bunch, and I'm going to just have to explore and figure it out. And once you do, man, Hollow Knight is so freaking good. So yeah, play Hollow Knight. If you haven't played it, play Hollow Knight. You will not regret it.